Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
And then as you go and revisit the claim and target, that's when the kids are gonna start adding their thoughts and
Right.
reflections as they build their understanding, or no, will you continue to feed it?
Well, the second round, I've continued to feed it, but then they're adding in their strategy, so it's still
Okay.
kind of a whole class. I'm doing it for them, they're copying what I write, but they have more voice in it now.
So the end goal isn't just gonna release it totally?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, by the third round, they should have enough information in there, and they just like carry it around and
Do
use it for
you
everything.
mirror math, like Amy had a conjecture, and so then you call it Amy's strategy?
Yeah,
You're-
we do that, we have an AVA strategy right now.
Okay.
So with, like, if I piggyback off it, strategies are starting to emerge that they're coming from the kids. And so those kind of things are now getting input into our notebooks, and we call it the AVA strategy.
That's what I was getting to, so then that's student-directed learning eventually.
And I'll get to it with mine also. And the second time around, we've been focusing more on the question type within the target. So we're honing down on the question type and what the question type looks like within that specific target. And what are strategies to solve
That
that
question type.
specific question type within that target.
Good. Okay.
Another strategy I think has helped is just using graphic organizers. We've had quite a bit of success in Target 1 and 2. So, you know, the key details and then the central idea. So we're using the same graphic and they're really making meaning of it of, do I have the big idea? If I do, it's key details, I'm trying to support it. If I have the key details, I need to make the, whatever,
idea.
the big idea. And so they've really been using that. So I think that could be why we have
Is it the same-
100%
Is
in
this the one we've been using?
This one?
Yes,
Our old,
exactly,
Yeah.
same thing.
okay, and everybody's
Simple.
using that one?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right, challenges.
So our challenges were in text structures, and it was a multiple select item, and it was a depth of knowledge 3. We had 40% at benchmark. And our hardest, it was a central idea, but it was a hot text item, and it was find all the details, and it was a good couple paragraphs. I mean, so I really am kind of looking at the item type. I think is really where they're struggling with that.
And this CA happened to be an extended read,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
It was a longer,
Very, very
an
long.
endurance read.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
So a hot text would cover more text.
Yeah.
I don't remember the item, but
It was, yeah, I have it here for us,
Okay.
look at it, but, so my first goal is increasing from 15%, when we're looking at central idea, lesson, theme, moral, as it's conveyed through the key details, on hot text items to 60%, so 15% to 60% by January 13th. And I have 14 kiddos there that I really think with some extra support and strategies and those types of items are gonna be able to make it. If all of them get it, we'll be well above our goal, but
and you're gonna measure with an exit task.
yes.
Okay.
And my second goal is going from 40%, when we look at text structures and features, to 70%. And then I have 9 kids there that can make that, oh, I'm sorry, to 75,
Mhm.
sorry, excuse me. 9 kids there that I'm confident can do that with some help, because again, it's a multiple select item. So I'll measure that with an exit task. So some of the same strategies that we're using and then a couple different ones. So finding similarities and differences within groups and within classroom discussions. And we're using graphic organizers really to do that. So different types of thinking maps, T-charts, affinity diagrams. We used an affinity diagram with language use. So they had simile, metaphor, all these different ones, and they had examples and had to put them there. And they keep talking about it, and they keep referring to it. And so I'm thinking, okay, I should probably use that with other things also. So especially within hot text, we're gonna take the big idea, whatever it is, and then we're going to break apart the details in there, the sentences in there, and for a while, using Post-it notes, using whatever we need, actually physically move it, and then transition into, okay, numbering the sentences and kind of doing the T-chart model. Does it match what your big idea is, yes or no? Anyway, using that with vocab words too. We've been doing that this week, and they're using a lot of different graphics to help them support vocabulary, categorize things, all that. We'll keep doing note-taking and direct instruction with our ELA journals, and a lot of teacher think aloud, so I'll use strikeouts as I'm doing a hot text item. I'll talk through how I eliminate unnecessary information. So we'll do that 3 to 4 times a week.
You're thinking aloud and modeling.
Yeah.
And really, and the strategies that you named so far, if we just want to break out the high yield, we have 4. So identifying similarities and differences is its own high yield strategy, as is organizers, advanced organizers. And then note-taking being its own, and direct instruction or explicit instruction. So when you look at the results, make sure you tease out each of those.
Okay. And like we talked about earlier, that goal setting has made a big difference for them. So we'll continue to do that, to set the objective for them, make it clear, continue to provide feedback. So that'll come through our learning targets, our goal setting. We'll continue with our celebrations. They're really, really buying into that. They really love those. So they wear the lanyards around and they come ask me, and then they chart their name. So we're on like our 3rd paper of, and I need to make more because I don't have enough now, and they're getting, but I made my goal in both reading and math.
And when you forget, they, where's my lanyard?
Yeah,
Give me my lanyard.
yeah, they come up, I'm at my goal. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll get that, that's cool, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So we'll keep doing that every day, because they are really motivated, and they're really liking comparing where they were in months previous to where they are now.
The language are 2 different kinds.
3.
There's 3, one says achievement, one says goal met, one says like ask me what I learned, yeah.
So mine are a little different. Mine are achievement, effort, and improvement.
Questions?
I just, on the text structures, your goal there, the text structures and features, are you honing in on specific ones? To make sure that that goal's very clear and
Yeah.
directed?
Yeah, in the one that I based it off of, was asking about why an author wrote a passage in that way. So they do pretty well with heading and caption, but it's like how the paragraph is structured. Why is it a problem solution structure? Why is it, and Mrs. Scott has written a lot of questions like that for us, so we're able to really isolate, oh, yeah, that's where our struggle is right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a perfect example of Common Core, because you take the skill that used to be just standards and you move it to application. And so you increase the rigor, and they're doing, well, they have to have that basic knowledge of what is a caption heading,
Mhm.
what is a stanza paragraph.
Mhm.
Jesse, any connection for special ed?
Just with the graphic organizers, we're using the same, and with some scaffolding like color coding, it's working.
Thank you, Diana.
Okay, so just going back to last month's strategic plan, my first goal was that we would increase from 20% to 70% in their ability to use details to support an inference or a conclusion in a multiple choice and hot text question. So I had 2 different data points. One was in a multiple choice question, and they scored 76%, so we met our goal on that. And so I pushed them a little bit more to see if it was the question type that they understood or the key details of support. And we went to a hot text question, and it was 81%.
Oh,
So it seemed like they understood the target and supporting with key details, and it wasn't just the depth of knowledge of a 1 on a multiple choice question type.
Are you guys talking to DOK with them?
Oh, yeah.
They're getting it?
They'll even raise their hand and say, Ms. Mo, that's a DOK 2, right? And so we talk about why is it a DOK 2? And we've even gone further to talk about different depths of knowledge and the time and the effort that it would take in those different
I
depths of
think
knowledge.
that's in your plan, so I want you to talk about that when you get there.
Okay. And so then my second target was that we would increase from 55% to 70% in their ability to identify the central idea in a short text or written response question type. And we went from 55% to 71% on our first, so that was a short text response. But then I went to a multiple choice again to see if it was the question type or the target, and we only got 41% on multiple choice. So I'm gonna look a little bit further into that and keep monitoring that to see if it's understanding of the target or if it's we've practiced so much on that written response that it's kind of become formulaic for them. And I
Okay.
wonder if it's just, they know I write my inference, I support detail.
Detail.